Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, Data, good morning. How you doing this morning? Man, I tell you, Mike, I just seem to be having problems with everything today. This is getting irritating as all get out. I'm having to reboot everything. Had to reboot my phone, had to boot the computer twice. Well, one computer twice. The other one I had to reboot last night at least twice, if not three times. The only thing that's gone right for me so far today is my Thomas toasted R cakes. These are basically cornbread patties, sweet cornbread, and they're actually really good. They're rather addicting in flavor, but then I like sweet cornbread anyway. Mm. I've had my coffee this morning. If Fury was here, I'd infuriate him because I'm drinking my tea and I don't have a kettle. I run my hot water through my Keurig. Then I don't take my tea bag out. If everything goes right, next month may be the last time y'all have to put up with listening to me do my infusions on Mondays. My doctor appears there's another drug out there I can take that instead of having to do sub-Q infusions that take half the day. Hey, morning, Digi. Instead of taking about 5 to 6 hours to do these. Hey, Raman, good morning. I sent you the link. That I start at 7 o'clock in the morning, and it takes me until around noon sometimes to finish them up. It looks like they're going to. My insurance company has approved another medicine, which instead, like I said, instead of 5 vials once a week, is one preloaded syringe once a week. Instead of hours every week, we're talking like a minute in the morning or whenever I want to do it, which will be in the morning. Get up, get my shower, and the first thing I do would be do the that thing. So it takes about a minute to do it, 45 seconds, 30 to 45 seconds, they said. I will not know what to do with all my time after that. Now, they did say the first 2 weeks, I'll be constantly feeling like I'm running a low-grade fever, achy, like you got a flu, a low-grade flu, while the body adjusts to it. But they said, other than that, the doctor told me something I knew, but I knew it happened. But it's one of these things. It only happens to other people. It doesn't happen to me. I'm the exception to the case. Oh, okay. Well, Raman, I sent you, I made an offer to you. You know that. I made you an offer. Um, we'll talk after the stream, okay? But anyway, there's but anyway, it's a well-known medical fact, I guess, I mean, I had heard it before, but no. As you get older, your brain shrinks. Well, about a month and a half ago, I had to go to Tallahassee to have a brain MRI done for this doctor. I had to go to Tallahassee for this thing because I'm being extremely claustrophobic. And an MRI of the head of your brain takes about a half hour to 45 minutes. I could, and the only way they're going to get my head inside of one of them damn machines would be to knock me out totally, which they won't do unless you're already admitted into the hospital as a patient. They will not knock you out totally unconscious to do an MRI. Well, there's a place in Tallahassee, it's a part of a chain, uh, Open MRI. And this thing is no, it's a standing MRI. And you're not really standing, but that's beside the point. And I took two Xanax as a precaution, but I honestly believe I wouldn't have needed them because you could actually see and talk to the person on the other side. There was, no machine right there in front of your face. Okay, it was, and it was about at 35 minutes or so I was in there, and it really went by fairly quickly. It was nice. Anyway, so they sent me the CD, and I took it in and delivered it to or they gave me the CD when it was done, and I took it in, delivered to the doctor's office, and went home. And then, when after the doctor done their thing with it, they sent it back to me. I forgot the copy of the CD, but I don't have the program to read it. So I went and saw the doctor, and she says, "Well, it's like this: your brain is shrinking, but it's for the most part, it's what we would expect in a man your age. However, there's one portion of your brain that has shrunk a little bit more than the rest of the brain." I'm like, okay. Which portion of the brain might that be? She said the parietal lobe. I'm like, I know nothing of this parietal lobe. Please educate me. What does this parietal lobe do? And it controls your parts of your memory and your speech. I'm like, oh. So is that why when I was talking to another person and I'm wanting to talk about fabuloso, but I kept saying Febreze. And she laughed and she said, well, that could have been it. And I'm sitting there going, how am I going to tell my wife that my brain is shrinking without giving this ammunition to use against me? My wife, I love her dearly. And I guess she loves me because, she has stuck around with me now for 35 years. But she's got a sharp tongue. And a wicked sense of humor. Hey, Dale, good morning. And I just know that if I were to tell her that my brain is shrinking, one day when I least expect it, She's going to use that against me. So I will not. I will not tell her this. And hopefully she never sees anything from the doctor's office saying anything about it. Because wives, women never forget. And they never fail to use what they know against you when they get a chance. So, yeah. Now, oh, good God, no. Good God, no, Ramen. That is no. I've now got a female doctor. My last 4 doctors up there have been men. But I now got a female doctor. And there is no way in hell am I going to let 2 women get in the same room discussing my health. That is not going to happen. There is absolutely no way I am going to let 2 women in the same room at the same time discussing my health, especially when one of them is my wife. Like I said, I love her dearly, but I only want to let her know what I want to let her know. I mean, you talking about putting people in hurt if that were to happen. All right, so let's cover some of these things that's been going on in the news. First thing, well, R.I.P. to Loretta Swit. She, of course, was one of the names on. Where did it go? She, of course, was one of the ensemble cast of the TV show MASH. Her role was as Hot Lips Houlihan, and she was there for the entire series run, and sarcastic, love-hate relationship with everybody on the show as far as in there. Hey, morning, Data. And I could not imagine that show without her in it. Before hospital dreams were a thing, she was the best nurse ever. Thank goodness the shows. I mean, the wife and I still watch the show almost every night on reruns on MeTV. And, for an ensemble cast, she's one of the ones that, you remember. I imagine, let's see, you got Alan Alda, of course, as the star of the show. And I think she was like number 3, I believe, behind Alan Alda on the ranking on the. Now it was starring, and I can't imagine a show with anybody but her in that role. She had it. So rest in peace, Loretta Swit, and thank you for the memories. And your acting will live on, and that you'll bring joy to people for a few more years at least, until the show runs its course and nobody wants to watch it anymore. Okay, let's see here. ICE raided Jerry Nadler's office, and Nadler was not upset. Was very upset about that. Now, unfortunately, this is the only video I could get of the raid itself. And so let's go ahead and play this.
No, she did not. That is not what happened.
That is not what happened.
Okay.
What?
Hold on a second.
Give me your contact information right
No,
now.
I'm going to give you time to speak to you.
Hey.
That's what I'm going to do.
We got you.
I got you.
You're
You're okay.
I don't have to go.
You're okay. You're okay. You're gonna be okay.
I'm a federal officer. We're here checking on something. We have the right to check. I'm
Can I
giving
see a
you.
warrant?
I'm not resisting.
Stop resisting.
You harboring rioters in the office. So there's not a problem. Let's walk inside. Let's walk through.
For what?
Let me see what's in here.
Oh, someone's your office?
Let's go. Come on. Come on.
Can you stay in
Hold it there.
Hold it there.
Okay, and that is the only video that I've seen involving involving it. Nadler, of course, is upset, which I don't blame him for being upset. The woman who was handcuffed that was crying was released. As you heard, they said they were looking for people who were rioting outside of his office, protesting, and they thought that they were hiding them. I'm going to be honest. I think DHS may have overstepped their bounds in going into Nadler's office like that. That's just, I strongly support DHS in going after, and ICE in going after the protesters, going after illegals. But when it comes to congressional offices, and as much as I dislike Nadler, yes, Nadler is an a-hole. He truly is. And I would imagine most of the people that work for him are the same way. But I do not want federal authorities without a warrant signed by a judge going into Jim Jordan's office, going into any Republican's office like that. If DHS thinks that they are given sanctuary to a protester, then DHS has got the blueprints to all these offices. Put agents at the doors outside to prevent anybody from leaving. Get a warrant signed by a judge. Then go into the office. Now, of course, if that agent is 2 steps behind the guy, 3 steps behind the person that they're chasing down, then that's a different story. But if they just suspect that the guy's hiding in there like they did here, then no, don't. And definitely, unless you got a warrant, don't go slapping handcuffs on uh, congressional staff. Okay, dated, then take that to the judge and get a warrant. And an anonymous tip, I'm sorry, okay, you got an anonymous tip, that means you didn't run them down. You didn't see them go in the office. And I don't like anonymous tips. They've been used too often against Republicans and conservatives to where there was nothing there. It was just somebody lying their asses off. Or they claimed they had an anonymous tip, but no real proof of it. So, no, I don't like anonymous tips. I don't want them to use anonymous tips to go into a congressional office and raid it and put congressional staffers in handcuffs and such. I don't like it, and I don't want to see it happening. And I don't want to see it happen to Democrats because I don't want to see it happening to conservatives, to Republicans. Remember my motto when it comes to stuff happening in D.C. and politics. If you've used it against the other side, they're going to come back and use it against you. So go in with a warrant, like I said, unless you're chasing the guy down, you've seen that person run in that office. You stop dead at the office door. You go in, you knock on the door, you politely ask, hey, this is what we suspect. May we? If they say no, you say, okay, thank you. You go outside and you wait outside the doors while you send somebody to go get a warrant. They can't stop you from sitting outside the door. But you don't go busting into the offices. That DHS official who did we had the right to check the office, he should lose, honestly, he should lose his job. He should, or, at best, as an example to everybody else, he should lose his job. At the very least, he should be put on a month's suspension with no pay. Yeah, I know, a month with no pay, man, that's rough. That's rough. But that's something that there needs to be a harsh example set to these people who violate congressional offices like this, to people who violate your homes. I'm tired of seeing cops, and again, all cops. I don't care whether I support you and what you're doing right now or not. Using this attitude, I wear a badge, therefore I have the right. Your rights in law enforcement are limited. Your authority is limited. And my personal opinion, this DHS officer overstepped the limits of his authority. The one who handcuffed the woman, he overstepped the limits of his authority. The people involved in that need to be punished because I think they've done wrong. Of course, Nadler and the Democrats are going to slam Trump over this. They're not going to, because he's been allowing, because of what they've been doing with the illegals. And maybe Trump does need to go in there and give a blistering ass chewing. In fact, I think it would do a lot of good if he did. And if he'd do a public one, if he would publicly apologize. Hey, these guys overstepped their bounds and publicly apologize to Nadler. I think that'd be a good thing. And that would take away a lot of the ability of the press and the Democrats to bash Trump. But it also let these federal Leo people understand that there are limits to their authority and to what they're allowed to do. So, the idea, the DHS saying in their statement that they showed up at Nadler's office to conduct a security check because they're concerned about the safety of federal employees in the office after hearing reports of incidents nearby. That's BS. You and I both do that. So I really, like I said, Trump needs to step in here. He needs to publicly apologize and do an ass chewing. So anyway, and that's all I got to say about that. And if you disagree with me, let me know. We can always talk about it. Y'all know I like to read, though most of my reading now is done through audiobooks. And I recently got a collection of stories by Harlan Ellison. Now, it had been several years since I actually read any of Ellison's work. I remembered really liking his stuff. He had put out several anthologies: Dangerous Visions, again, Dangerous Visions, the final Dangerous Visions, a trilogy of stories, of collections of stories, mostly short stories, one or two novellas. But I'd forgotten how dark Ellison's writings were until I got listening to this one here, to this book of his, this collection of his. Let's see, what is it again? Come on, open up. The title of the book is I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, which is the title of one of the stories. But just as an example of how dark Ellison's writings are, if you're not familiar with Harlan Ellison, in this title story, 5 people are the last 5 people on Earth. A AI has taken over the planet and killed everybody except these 5 people. And the AI just enjoys torturing the hell out of them. Minimal amounts of food. Like one place, they find a cache of food, canned food, man, just all kinds of canned food, more canned food than what they've ever seen since they've been since the AI's taken over. The problem is they've got no can opener. And they can't figure out a way to bust open the cans to get to the food. That is the kind of darkness in Ellison's writing. Robot doctors that have taken over. The human doctors are there to assist the robots. That's just it, Raman. They don't have any kind of tools. They don't have a hammer. They don't have a knife. They've got nothing. While he doesn't outright say it, you're sort of led to believe they don't even have clothes. Because he does, I do believe that he mentions that they don't have shoes, so they're constantly, stepping on, on the ground, which cuts their feet. Oh yeah, okay. The Twilight Zone. Yeah, that was. Oh man. I can see. I know who he was, and I can't remember. I don't remember his name. He was Rocky. He was in the first Rocky movie. Man, great actor. Uh, Come on. Well, not only is there a chat delay, but I was also looking at I was doing a IMDb of Rocky to pull up the cast membership. But yeah, Burgess Meredith. Hey, morning, Eagle. How you doing today? So, oh man, I'm sorry to hear that you're not feeling well. Oh, yuck, I almost got tea bag in my mouth. Mmm, that tasted good. Oh no. If you don't mind, I'll say a prayer for you this afternoon. You could hear that tea bag get in my mouth. Sorry about that. All right. There's and so if you like dark science fiction, almost sometimes even dystopian short stories and such, read Harlan Ellison. He used to have his own show on Sci-Fi Channel, which I really enjoyed back when sci-fi first started. So it was a unique individual. He had a great out. He had a great. He would make you think with what he said sometimes. You know this trans stuff. You keep hearing the left talk, trans games, trans people playing sports, going into women's locker rooms. Being in there while everybody's stripping down naked, getting into getting ready to go out and your swim meet, your track meet, your ball game. Recently, I don't have the video of it because I just thought of it. This women's fast pitch softball tournament. Last year's winners went down. Last year's champions went down in straight games. The new champions, their pitcher was a man pretending to be a woman. And he had one hell of a fast pitch. Could he have succeeded as well pitching against men batters? I don't know. We don't know that. Because he's never done it. And then there was this. Riley Gaines has been talking about this guy for a while. Trans athlete A.B. Hernandez takes girls track and field state championships in California. California defying Trump. The meet was plagued by protests and arrests, and a women's rights activist was forcibly escorted out. Just days after President Trump sent a warning to California about letting a male compete in women's track and field, the state allowed a trans athlete to take 2 state titles against female competitors. A.B. Hernandez, a transgender student athlete for whatever Valley High School, took first place in the girls' high jump and triple jump at the state championships on Saturday. That's the man, the boy, 18-year-old boy, A.B. Hernandez. Hernandez also finished second place in the long jump to Woodrow Wilson High School's Lauren Webster. Webster is the only female to finish ahead of Hernandez in any competition the trans athlete competed in this weekend. Hernandez previously took first place in all three events at the preliminary round on Friday. Meanwhile, female competitors who finished behind Hernandez in the weekend events were all bumped up one spot and received the medal they would have earned had the athlete not competed. Me too, Eagle. 100%. I'm so sick of these lefties, these progressives, destroying, right? I mean, and this is what confuses me about the Democratic Party and about women. Okay? Women like Whoopi Goldberg, women like Joy Behar. The only reason why I'm remembering her name is because she's there on the screen. These are big time women libbers. You know, a woman can do anything a man can do. But they are so ate up and not being on the same side of anything that Republicans and conservatives are on, that they are letting men and beat women in sporting events. They are letting men be in women's bathrooms and locker rooms and showers. And the only reason I can think of some of these women doing it is because they can't be on the same side of an issue as a conservative, as a Republican. They just can't do it. They're so tied up in the ideological war against Republicans and conservatives that anything that they want to do, anything that conservative or Republican supports, has got to be wrong. That's the only thing I can think of to excuse this mess. Can any of y'all think of anything, any other reason why that would happen? Why a Democrat would be, or a liberal would be so supportive of this? Now, I'm excluding, I expect, the LGBTQ crowd to morally support this, regardless of their position anywhere else. Even though I know some gay men and some lesbians who are totally against it. But again, I would fully expect most members of the LGBTQ crowd to support it. Back to this here. The California Interscholastic Federation made a series of rule changes in the days leading up to the event to ensure any females who finished behind a biological male would be appropriately rewarded a medal based upon where they placed among female competitors. So I'll think about that. We're going to let a man compete And when he wins, he's going to get his first place trophy or second place trophy, whatever. He's going to get his trophy. But we're also going to give that first place trophy to that woman that would have won anyway. So, that's telling me right then and there that this organization, the California Interscholastic Federation, they understand that these men don't belong there. But once again, they're so ate up in opposing anything supported by Trump, supported by Republicans, supported by conservatives, that they have to let that man in there to do it anyway. Right here is AB getting his trophy, his medal. Right here is the woman who actually won, being as it was there's AB getting his participation award. I wonder if I hope that's the way that they're looking at this. I hope that's the way colleges will look at this. Because remember, this is high school level. I'm hoping that's the way colleges will look at this. When A.B. Hernandez puts down that he won, got first place doing this, and first place doing that, and second place in this, that they look at that as participation awards. I know I didn't say that word correctly for some reason, but that's beside the point. Y'all know what I meant. So, what is a SCCA race? Oh, okay. But yeah, this is, I hope that's the way colleges and everybody's going to look at this. Is that this was nothing more than a participation award for him. And the real winner was the woman standing on that podium next to him. And I tell you what, if I was this young lady right here, AB Hernandez shares the long jump second place spot on the with the female competitor. Why did they give her name? Why didn't they give her name? Give her credit. But if I had her, I would have smashed the shit out of him for putting his arm around her like that. Sports Car Club of America. Okay. What is he doing touching her like that? And look at the expression on her face. She's looking over there and seeing that that's wrong. Even with the rule changes, Hernandez's presence in the girls' competition prompted controversy and heavy protests. Hell yes, it should. Well, you can tell these are all homemade signs. There's no store-bought signs here. These are all homemade signs. Well, wait a minute. This one here may be 2X's, no exceptions. That and there may be a store-bought sign or professionally produced. The conflict between the protesters at one point became violent when an LGBTQ protester struck a local conservative activist, Josh Fuller, at the flagpole on Friday. Oh, yeah. Okay, I didn't realize that was him. Let's see if this video plays. I seen the video. I didn't realize it happened at this. But yeah, the guy was a woman was arrested. I'm going to assume it was a woman. It may have been a man that had really big moves. But this is what I've been putting up with, trying to get this video to load, trying to get videos to load.
Where's my mother gonna
Well, forget it. The Clovis Police Sergeant Hutchison told Fox News Digital no other criminal incidents occurred at or near the track meet on Friday night. Yeah, that guy just come walking up, and that guy, gal, whatever, come walking up at that flagpole, and just right through the car window, right through the open car window. Smack the driver, smack the guy with that flagpole. So, Riley Gaines did have something to say about it. And the AB's mother, well, listen to what AB's mother is doing here.
Girls. Yeah, it's tragic. This boy's mom has actually sent out cease and desist to those who are willing to advocate against his participation in the women's category. First and foremost, it was not.
Think about it. The mother of AB Hernandez is telling people protesting her son to stop protesting. You must cease and desist this, or I'm going to take legal action against you for bad mouthing my son as he pretends to be a female. What's the matter, Spanky? Are you cold? He's all curled up into a little ball. Let me get his blanket out, get it on top of him. There he goes. He'll warm up here and stretch out in a little bit. He's getting cold enough at night that he's crawling up into bed with the wife and I, crawling underneath our blankets to sleep. And he really likes crawling up underneath mine before I go to bed, because I go back about a half hour before I go to bed and turn on my electric blanket to get my bed nice and warm, because my feet are usually so cold. But anyway, this guy's mother is sending out cease and desist letters through her lawyer to people like Riley Gaines here, who are bad-mouthing, deservedly so, quite correctly, her son.
not just California this happened in this past week. This happened in 5 states. Boys taking a girl's rightful spot as state champion, qualifying spots, podium spots in California, Washington, Oregon, Minnesota, and Maine. That is 5 states that have blatantly and defiantly ignored federal law, that federal law being Title IX, and of course, Donald Trump's most recent executive order.
So how old were you when you first?
Any more than that, and I may get in trouble with Fox News. But you heard her say there about what's happened, okay? So far this year, these are for these totals here for 2025 alone. Just 2025. At least 189 first place finishes. At least 302 top 3 finishes. That's first, second, and third place. All right, so that's over 100 second and third places. And they've participated in a total, and these are men in women's sports. And they've been in a total of 605 total events. We keep hearing how, well, it's just a few, it's just a minuscule amount of men. What's the big deal? Just in 605 total events, 302 awards, top 3 awards. Boy, I could definitely use some brisket and burnt ends today. Man, I had some wonderful pulled pork I got from a local barbecue place the other day. Pulled pork, and they put some coleslaw on the side, Carolina style coleslaw, and a couple of toasted buns. And everything was separate. They didn't pre-make your sandwich. Had some nice pickle slices there. So you could eat it any way you wanted it to. And it was really nice. It was not very nicely done. And it wasn't that bad. It was $5.50 per sandwich, I think. $5.50, $6 per sandwich. About 6-7 ounces of meat, which is a decent amount of meat for that price for pulled pork. And yeah, that's not bad at all. And I like the way they gave it to you. So, I mean, if you just wanted to eat the pulled pork by itself and eat the coleslaw by itself, you could. If you wanted to mix it together, you could. I will admit, pulled pork and coleslaw together is good if it's a good. And I will admit, it's Carolina style coleslaw is better than most other coleslaws when you're eating it with pulled pork, because it's got a little bit more vinegar in it. Get me sidetracked there about food. Y'all know how to sidetrack me. Get me talking about food, and that'll get me sidetracked in a hurry. Because I do like my food, and y'all know it. That's not fair. Y'all know how to get me off my rant. Get me talking, about some good food. Just mention some well-made food. You'll get me going anytime. Okay. Get this next to the last. I tell you, I truly hope that I can get started on that new medicine I hope I can, because that is going to be so nice. Just doing one syringe. I can do that before I start the stream, and I don't have to keep getting up to change out syringes. But anyway, does it really sound like 605 events is really that small of a number? Yeah, Eagle, I know you weren't trying. But, I mean, think about it, just since January 1st, all right, we've only completed 5 months. In 5 months, men have participated over 605 different events. Have taken 302 top 3 finishes in only 5 months. That's not a small number. That really is not a small number at all. But the left, the media, would have you believe that it only happens every now and again. Now, y'all know that I'm not a big supporter of feminism. I'm not. I am a supporter of individual rights, and that a person can do what a person can do, as long as you're not infringing on someone else's rights. And for the same reason, the wife wants me to put a camera inside the house facing the garage, the entrance from the garage, and the entrance from the main door. And I don't want to, because I don't like the idea of having a camera in the house. Now, if I do, and because they do have these new cameras out now that record straight to an SD card, and they're not connected in any way, shape, or form to the internet, to the Wi-Fi. And if you want to see what's on that camera, you have to go up and physically remove the SD card. But that's because I want privacy inside my home. And I expect that same privacy in a locker room. Now, I understand I got to give up some privacy. But at least I know what to expect in a locker room full of men. And it's not just men going into women's sports here. Let me see if I can find that article again. Boys punished, female took pictures in locker room. That should do it. Loudoun County. There we go. And this Loudoun County, a girl who's pretending that she's a boy went into the boys' locker room and started taking pictures. When the boys complained, the female student filmed the boys. A violation of Loudoun County Public Schools rules prohibiting recordings in locker rooms. But the district did not say if the student faced investigations as well. But the boys who complained about it got in trouble. because the boys said that they were uncomfortable having a girl in the boys' locker room. Now, a few decades ago, I'm going to go back to when I was in high school. If a girl would come into the boys' locker room, she would have been shown more male genitalia than she could ever hope to see. But now these boys, they don't want, and the boys are right. I don't blame them now. They don't want to have, having a woman coming into the locker room when they're changing, taking showers, etc., and then especially taking pictures in there. I mean, again, going back to when I was in school, back in the 70s, cell phones didn't exist. Now, if she was brought in a Polaroid of any kind or any other type of camera, it would have gotten busted to hell and back. But now you've got cameras, you got cameras small enough to fit in a pen that record audio and video. These guys don't want their naked bodies out there. Yeah, cootie shots aren't a thing anymore. What's that, Eagle? You're saying it was a boy pretending to be a girl? That's not the news reports I've seen. But these boys are under investigation for Title IX violations. So no matter how it goes anymore, you don't. Let's see here. Now, the Justice Department said that they're going to investigate what happened in California with A.B. Hernandez. We'll see what they do, if they do. Personally, I think the Justice Department is getting so overwhelmed with what's going on. If you want to, this here's a website I found when I was looking up this stuff here for today. The website's called hescheating.org or hecheated.org. And you can look here. They've got the list of who it was. Okay. Charlie Rothenberger, Fast Fish Softball. Class 4, Section 5 Championship. happened May 29th. May 7th, Soren Stark Chessa, track and field, took third place in the 800-meter run. Zachary Marks, cycling, first place. That was on May 26th. Let me provide a link to this. Oh, yeah, Data. Yeah, I remember that story. You know, she spent a year or so, and it just totally messed her brain up. Yeah, she did. It totally messed her up. I know a couple of women that, there's been a couple of women that have done it, and not a single one of them have come out of it afterwards saying that they thought, that men do have it easier than women. Not a single one of them. Now, I'm not, I'm people have got it rough regardless. There are things that men have it easier in than women do. There are things that women have it easier on than men do. A man is more likely to go to help a woman he sees struggling with something than he is a man, than he is another man. Now, unless you're my age or older, the younger women, as far as I'm concerned, unless, if they're dressed like most younger women dress today. Now, if they're dressed more feminine and they're struggling with something, I'm more likely to help them. But if they're out there wearing, what the hell, those Lululemon stretch pants and a sports bra and whatever, and I'm not going to help them. I'm not going to hold a door for them. I mean, I'm not going to go out of my way. I'm not going to go out of my way to be mean to them, but I'm not going to go out to go out of my way to help them either. So, these here are, I'm sharing the screen now. These are each of the individuals that have won a sporting event of some sort that is so far this year. Most of them's track and field. I got one here, distance running. 10-kilometer. Took second place. Track and field, disc golf. Nil. Some guy pretending to be a woman. Disc golf, that's something you're into. 60-plus amateur? Gulf Coast Tour Challenge. I've never heard of that. Picnic Island Park. No clue where that is. I didn't know they had professional disc golf events, but that's something maybe you say you're pretty good at it. Soccer, rowing, outdoor rowing. Okay, more disc golf, more cycling, more track and field. Lot of it. Another softball. Oh, this is a slow pitch softball. Okay. Swimming competition. Yep. Again, that's to be expected. More rowing. Ultimate frisbee. There you go. And more disc golf. The Glass Blown Open. He took 6th place. Lily David Beaumont, 100-meter, 100, 300. I have no clue what the hell TJ is. Shot put. Jackson Pepper took 1st place in the shot put. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, so, I mean, again, this is just this year. This is just this year. Whoop. Even down to fencing. I mean, this is just absolutely wild here. What bowling, curling, Nordic skiing, weightlifting. Boy, this guy only took 5th place in weightlifting against women. He'd probably been like 900th place weightlifting against men. Neil is the expert on anything dealing with professional frisbee throwing. He's the one that knows the stuff about that. It's not me. So, like I said, the 2 websites you want to go to if you want to see any of this stuff for yourself, hecheated.org and the Women's Policy Group. I'm posting a link to them now too. womensportspolicy.org. So close that and close that. Spanky, my boy. He's been sneezing a lot lately. All right. We got to do it. We got to talk about this jerk in Colorado. Unfortunately, we got to talk about him here for a while. Okay, what did I just drop? Oh, my hat fell. Okay, that's no big deal. The anti-Semitic, the attacks on Jews in the United States is increasing. and it's concerning. And once again, I place the blame for this on the left. I really and truly do. And I place the majority of the blame on the left. 60, let's call it 70% of the blame goes to the left, 30% of the blame goes to the right, to Republicans. And the reason why I say that is we allowed these colleges to get out of hand with their anti-Semitism. The left and the colleges are at fault for even supporting it and allowing it to start. The right is at fault for allowing it to continue. It should have been tamped down. It should have been halted a long time ago. When they started with the Free Palestine and started particularly after October 7th, all these protests and chants and everything at these schools should have been stopped and stopped dead, stopped cold. The schools should have been forced to stop them. Maybe in the future, thanks to the Democrats, once again, Republicans will start using the court system to file injunctions against schools for allowing these kind of protests to go on. We know darn well that if those protests had been anti-Black or anti-Hispanic, they never would have been allowed. The courts would have stopped them, but they never would have been allowed to continue. Anybody that wanted to file an injunction to stop them would have won. But because they were being done against Jews and against Israel, the schools allowed them to happen. And now it's carried on. We've got people on social media that cheered the murder of that young couple in New York the other day, last week. Cheered it. Applauded it. And then we had what happened in Colorado.
We're fucking God.
Stay. can't do nothing. We can. Not here. We have to end this. Not here, bro. You're not.
I'm taking video right now.
The guy without the shirt is the man who used Molotov cocktails and a flamethrower.
He was wearing an orange suit with like something on his back.
Spraying alcohol, too.
Those bottles are filled with alcohol, either alcohol or gas.
But what he did was he made it look like he was here.
He's making Molotov cocktails.
And for us,
Well, we can't do it when he's got Molotov cocktails in
if
him.
you are fighting, you have the
That's what he's got right here is Molotov cocktails.
right there.
Alcohol.
They are killers.
Get back, Mom.
How many fellas?
I'm able to confirm there are 6 victims, ages 67 to 88. All of them have been transported to local hospitals. This attack happened at a regularly scheduled weekly peaceful event. Witnesses are reporting that the subject used a makeshift flamethrower and threw an incendiary device into the crowd. The suspect was heard to yell "Free Palestine" during the attack. The subject has been identified as Mohammed Sabri Solomon, and he's 45 years old.
What are the odds this man is a Muslim? What are the odds he is here in the country illegally from Egypt? What are the odds that he's also a Muslim?
The FBI is processing the crime scene and the subject vehicle and interviewing key witnesses. We're assisting Boulder Police in providing technical, analytic, and additional forensic resources. As a result of these preliminary facts, it is clear that this is a targeted act of violence, and the FBI is investigating this as an act of terrorism.
We can't do nothing about that. We can't do nothing.
We can.
Not here.
I'm taking video right now.
We need to see these videos of what happened that day. To hear it in the news, to hear it described, to hear somebody talk about it, especially in the evening news where it's cleaned up. Because remember, it's only Jews that were hurt. It's only Jews, according to the media. You don't have the Democrats standing out there yelling and screaming about it as if let's say this had been a group of Hispanics protesting Donald Trump and ICE. Suppose it was a group of blacks protesting, hold a peaceful protest against the police, and somebody had done that. And a white man had done that. You'd have the Democrats standing up for days before the microphones yelling and screaming about it. Hey there, Ramen.
Oh my God. I can hear you, kind of, sort of.
Okay.
I can hear you, Abby. Oh my God.
Okay, turn down the volume. Okay, there we go.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're breaking up a little bit, and I can hear myself. But when we sit here though, and we see this in the evening news, you don't see the Democrats out there yelling and screaming, demanding justice. You don't see posters with these poor people's faces on them already. You're not getting interviews of the family of the people who've been injured. You're not hearing, about the racist attack in Boulder. You're not hearing any of that. It's just being sloughed off because the victims are Jewish. This is absolutely disgusting. This is where our media plays favorites. Our media is playing favorites as to, who the victim of the week. Well, it's only Jews. They're not victims. They're oppressors. Eagle, I understand what you're saying. Okay, I do. I truly do understand that you've got to you almost have to pick and choose what you want to get mad about. Perhaps it's because my father, being the world history fanatic that he was, world history and American history, definitely perhaps because of my religious upbringing. The history of the Jewish people, going back to even before the birth of the Christ, is not a pleasant history. It truly isn't. The history as I've been taught it through my Bible teachings, through classes, et cetera, through working with working with people who are Jewish, and talking about their history. And an innate desire to see the closest thing there is to a democratic, a Western style government in the Middle East as there is. A country that has been so, even the UN hates Israel. The UN has more hatred for Israel than it has for China, for North Korea, and Russia combined. The UN hates Israel than any of the warlords in Africa. And when I see a country that is so attacked on the world stage as Israel is for what is, in my opinion, hey, Ramen.
Hey, I'm sorry, my browser
Oh, that sounds a
crashed.
lot better. That sounds a
Thank
lot better.
you. It's been a week, yo.
Yeah. You want to add anything here, Ramen?
I got nothing on this because there's literally been nothing on the news. I'm just not informed like you are, so I'm just gonna say,
Okay.
guess what? Who that got her driver's license?
I mean, I've been expecting this and worse. I expect this. To me, this is an opening salvo.
Oh
And
yeah.
depending on how our country responds. Okay, Eagle, you have a good day. As I said, I'm going to keep you in my prayers
Me
that you recover
too.
quickly from this cancer, F cancer.
Right?
So, but you try to have a good day there, Eagle.
Yeah.
But if we could get even the Democrats to step out and say how evil this attack is and how evil it is for the attacks on Israel and even American Jews, if we can just get them to say attacks on American Jews living in our country is evil and is wrong.
That would require a moral center. You can't expect that. Come on.
I mean, it's. You're right. We're not going to
Never
be
gonna
able to get.
happen.
We're not going to get. Not as long as they have people like AOC, Ilhan, Rashid, and those people being supported by the Democratic Party. As long as the Democratic Party is supporting those people, they'll never come out in support of American Jews.
Oh my God. Or children, or women, or any disadvantaged group. There you go.
This guy Mohammed Sabri Solomon.
Oh my God. How do you even get a driver's license?
Well, according to all the news reports I've seen, this man was in the country illegally.
Oh gee, there's a surprise.
From Egypt.
Ew.
And the thing, and one of the first things I read after this was, and when they released the man's name, well, just because he's Muhammad, that doesn't mean he's a Muslim.
Oh my God. Who the hell names their kid Mohammed for fun if there's no religious connection? Come on.
But that was one of the first things I read online. I mean, and yeah, he's, just because his name is Muhammad, that doesn't mean he is a Muslim, but it does mean there's a greater chance that he's a Muslim than a Christian.
Oh yeah.
Or even an atheist. I'm sorry, you just roboted you're roboting now, Ramen.
Sorry. Maybe he could just be a Democrat. Who knows?
You're right. He could just be a Democrat. Okay, I'm starting to hear myself again.
I don't know what to do. I'm sorry. I literally just opened the box on this thing, and it's a cheap friggin' headset too. But I can hear you in StreamYard. I don't have to have 10 tabs open to be able to hear and talk at the same time, so yay. But it's a single jack, so I would have to buy an adapter for it to work it on the computer.
I was going to show
I was going to
video. I
show
can't show
video.
it
I can't
now.
show it now.
I
Aww.
didn't watch
I
the
didn't
whole
watch the
41
whole
second
41
video, but I
second video,
just
but I
saw
just
parts of it. It's
saw
like,
parts
nope,
of
I
it. Like,
can't show
nope, I
this.
can't show this.
Oh, darn it.
Uh,
Uh,
let's see
let's
here.
see here.
What
What
I really and
I
truly
really and
want to
truly want
see
to see
this guy
this guy
prosecuted to the
prosecuted to the
maximum.
maximum.
Yay, me too.
Okay,
Okay,
and
and
I want to see
I want to see
the end of
the end of
Ramen Man. This is really
this is
distracting.
really distracting.
I'm
You're
echoing so
I'm
bad.
so bad.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. It's okay. Hold on. How do I do this? Okay. Wait.
Test 1, 2, 3. Okay. Well, I'm not echoing now. And okay. I not only want to see this man prosecuted to the absolutely full limits of the law, which would mean death sentence. But I also want the death sentence carried out very quickly, and I want it public. I want it televised. I want the president, I want the vice president, I want the Speaker of the House, I want the Senate Majority Leader and the Senate Minority Leader. I want to see the Minority Leader of the House give a joint press conference condemning what happened. I want every person, leadership in the House and the Senate. I want the president and vice president. I want all six of them up there. Unfortunately, we can't have anybody from the judiciary up there. But I want everybody, I want the House to the Senate leadership. I want, like I said, the president, vice president, joint press conference condemning these attacks, specifically in Boulder, condemning the murders of that young couple in New York. I want to see this stuff brought to an end. I want to see them condemning it and promising prosecution. I want to see any House member or any member of the Senate that says anything in support or says anything not even in full condemnation of these attacks. I want to see them censored by their own parties. This has got to stop. And the best way to bring it to a stop is to have the leadership in the House and the Senate, along with the president and vice president, not only condemning it, but anybody in the House or Senate who doesn't condemn it be publicly censored by the House and Senate, by their own party. I want this nonsense to end. As long as these people feel, and I'm talking about the free Palestine punks in college all the way up the food chains. From the brain dead kids in college who are doing it simply because everybody else is doing it on up. I want them to understand that they don't have any support in the political parties. I want them to understand that they have crossed the line. And it needs to start at the top. I want the college professors. I want the deans and the vice deans and the adjutants and whatever else they want to call them brought up and asked if they support these and why they allow it to continue on their campuses. I want the Democrats to step up and agree with the president and start jerking public funding from the schools. That the school wants to do it, fine, let them do it, but they don't get a damn dime of public funding, and that includes student loans. That includes student loans. We're not going to stop the students from going there. The students can go there if they want, but they got to go there on their own dime. They can't borrow government money to do it. They can't borrow taxpayer money to go there. Let them get loans from private banks to attend those colleges. I just happened to think of that. Since these loans are public loans and a president was publicly supported in forgiving these student loans, then why shouldn't a president have the authority to determine where those student loans go? Because if he can forgive them, like Biden and the Democrats said he could, then he can determine where in the hell those loans go. And he can cut them off and say no more student loan money to these colleges. Because they're allowing hate to fester on them. Yeah, that's the way to do it. That's the thought I just had. Let's see how fast the Democrats go screaming that no, he can't do that. See how many judges line up saying no, he can't do that. That these colleges need to be funded, despite the fact that they're teaching hate. Because this is absolutely disgusting. It really and truly is. Okay, I guess that is all I have got for today, guys. Now, there is a video out on X that at first it was a bit, I was like, okay, I won't put it out there. It's a little bit on the risque side, but what the hey. And then it got more than just a little risque. But it was a couple undercover having sex on a surfboard while they were out fishing. And then he caught a fish while they were doing their thing. I'm going to go back to that protest for just a second where that guy was running around with those fire bombs. Colorado is an anti-gun state. Think if there'd been a couple of people there with guns. You think he would have been alive for the FBI to arrest? If there'd even been one person there with a gun, even a 22 pistol, even a 22 pistol could have stopped that. This kind of stuff goes on. And why is it the only video we have of this whole thing that I've been able to find? Or from people shooting with their video with their cell phone cameras. Was the media not covering this protest? Because I mean, the Jews were only out there protesting that Hamas still has hostages. Well, the media wasn't out there covering it. Anytime else anybody else is out there anytime there's a group of blacks protesting, a group of Hispanics protesting, hell, they even show up for protests at Starbucks by Starbucks employees because they don't like the new dress code. And they've got the media out there covering that. But a group of Jews getting together to protest, to bring awareness that the Hamas is still holding people hostage, and the media is not out there covering it. That's thought I just had. Anyway, ladies and gents, Data, Eagle, Nil, Ramen, thank you for coming out today and listening to me. Ramen, I hope you get your new mic in soon. But I'm going to go ahead and end the stream now. Thank you all for coming out. All right. Tomorrow will be another day. Let's see what happens today that's going to cause me to shake my fist and yell at the sky. But until then, ladies and gents, be with the ones you love. And of course, as always, love the ones that you are with and try to have a good day. And keep Eagle in your prayers. Later all.